Welcome to this presentation on the human impact on the western meadowlark. The western meadowlark is best known. Where does it live? The western meadowlark prefers thick grasses and open fields and farmland, its prairie being the natural home of the western meadowlark. Its range in the dark purple is its usual habitat year-round. In the summertime, it expands up into the dark red, where its breeding grounds are, in addition to the dark purple. The pale red, all the way to the east into Canada, is more unusual, but sometimes western meadowlarks are found there during the breeding season. The blue and the pale blue in Mexico and the southern US are its wintering habitats, and the pale blue being its less likely winter habitats. So as you can see, the western meadowlark earns its name, western. What does it eat? A western meadowlark is a bit of an omnivore, but it prefers insects, spiders, even small frogs. It'll eat seeds and fallen grain from agriculture when these food sources are less likely to be found, usually in the autumn. How do they reproduce? Western meadowlarks are ground nesting birds. The male will often put on its full breeding plumage in the spring and then create a nest or bower for the female, creating a woven house of sorts from grass and twigs. The female will then lay 3 to 7 small white eggs, which they'll incubate for up to 2 to 3 weeks. Then the babies are born and are fed by both parents for a week until they leave the nest, and then are fed by the parents for remaining 2 to 3 weeks. Western meadowlarks often make 2 broods a year, and so their numbers can be quite numerous. What is causing the decline of the western meadowlark? Like many species, western meadowlarks are falling victim to urbanization, loss of habitat, pesticides, and in this area, especially on the Front Range, farm machinery. Habitats are destroyed for houses and the widespread urban sprawl of Metro Denver, whereas pesticides are sprayed liberally on fields, which can poison young and prevent them from growing to adulthood. Farm machinery, likewise, often chops up young eggs and brooding adults when they come through to harvest. What can we do to protect the western meadowlark? Some steps that we can take as residents of Colorado and the Front Range are plant flowers and grass native to Colorado in our yards and gardens. Try to not use harmful pesticides, and donate to open space foundations to protect the western meadowlark habitat. The best thing we can do for these birds is to protect their habitat. Would the western meadowlark benefit from genetic engineering? The western meadowlark is actually perfectly adapted to its environment. There isn't much that we could do to improve upon this bird. Its plumage, its eating habits, its migratory habits are all very well suited for its prairie lifestyle. Even with human encroachment into its habitat, it is learning to survive. And finally, let's go to Mars. When the question was posed, should we take your animal of choice to Mars? My answer is, of course we should take the western meadowlark to Mars. Who wouldn't love a prairie-themed biodome full of these musical birds under the Martian sky? Thank you so much for listening to this presentation on the valuable western meadowlark. Let's listen once more to its beautiful song and it remind us why we should conserve this wonderful bird.